Oh, so Aaron Rodgers has got jokes ahead of the divisional round of the playoffs. I like it too. That was clever. But I gotta say, Michael, it's Feel Good Friday, and I'm not feeling good. As a matter of fact, Big Mike, I'm nervous. I'm nervous on behalf of Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. So look, he had the Deflategate joke about Tom Brady. It was cute, but the truth of the matter is, 7 times in his career, Tom Brady has been the only quarterback smiling at the end of the season. And far more often than not in the postseason, Tom Brady has had the last laugh. I think about Aaron Rodgers. And Michael, you called me on this a while ago. You've said it, and you're right about it, that as much as I hate one-loss records for quarterbacks, and obviously for that matter, starting pitchers, but we've evolved from that.
Are you about to do this did this dude do this? Are you about to do this?
I'm acknowledging I'm acknowledging that starting quarterback one-loss records come up in conversation when convenient, especially when you're talking about the greatest of all time. And for Aaron Rodgers and his 11-9 playoff record, and of course, there were circumstances with every one of these disappointing postseason losses. It's not just Rodgers. Some games he's played poorly. Other games have not been his fault. Sometimes it's a combination of those two things. But I think by and large it's safe to say that his regular season brilliance does not often carry over into the postseason, individually speaking. So Aaron Rodgers at 11-9 going into Sunday's game against the 49ers. Saturday's game against the 49ers. What day did they play, Saturday or Sunday? I forget. Anyway, this weekend.
Saturday.
Thank you. This weekend.
Tomorrow.
I'm getting old. Yeah, tomorrow. That's why I'm nervous, because it's close. Because the end could be near.
Tomorrow night.
The end could be near. Yeah, it's supposed to be like below zero, right?
The end could be near for whom?
The end could be near for the Packers
Green Bay
season. The Packers season. The end could be near for the Packers season. Once again, prematurely is the point. You've talked a lot of people have talked about this matchup with the 49ers. The 49ers certainly don't have the look of a wild card team. The 49ers have given the Packers trouble in the past, in the postseason.
They have.
We know that. There's a history there. The 49ers aren't intimidated about going to Lambeau Field. I'm nervous because for people like me who try to split hairs and say that Tom Brady is the GOAT, but Aaron Rodgers is the best to ever play the position, I'm nervous about what the conversation will be if Aaron Rodgers' postseason record falls to 11-10. I worry about how we're going to feel, what we're going to say about Aaron Rodgers if once again, and this is for this weekend, even if they win this weekend, there's the NFC Championship game and then the Super Bowl. If once again Aaron Rodgers seems to have everything laid out for him, number 1 seed, the only bye in the conference, home field advantage, a complete team, it's going to be real hard for people to keep making excuses and talking about all the things that Aaron Rodgers has not had in his favor throughout his career if they come up short again. So I'm just nervous. I'm nervous about what people like you are going to say. Because you have never
Don't put me in that category.
Well, I'm throwing you in the category of you've always, scoffed when I tried to say, Brady's the GOAT, but I've never seen anybody play the position better than Aaron Rodgers. You're like, it just gets harder and harder to keep qualifying Rodgers' career if he comes up short in the postseason, or his team comes up short in the postseason. And the how matters. If he throws for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns and they lose, it's going to be hard to pin that on Aaron Rodgers. But nonetheless, it's like, it's been 10 years since the Super Bowl, right? 11 years, I'm sorry. Or 11 years since the Super Bowl. It's like, I don't want to keep having to explain away the, relatively speaking, underachievement to Aaron Rodgers' career. Look, one Super Bowl is hard. Multiple Super Bowls is not a given for anybody.
Thank you.
It's not a given for anybody.
That's what I'm saying.
I just don't want to hear it.
That's what I'm saying.
And so I'm nervous. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the Aaron Rodgers slander that is sure to come, that I'm going to have to find a way around if his playoff record is barely above 500 after this weekend.
All right, look, First of all, no Aaron Rodgers slander coming from this address. I would say, now this is saying something because I've seen every game of Tom Brady's until last year. Until last year, I saw every game of Tom Brady's career. Every preseason game, truly, every preseason game Tom Brady played, I saw it. Every regular season game he played, I saw it. Every postseason game he played, I saw it until last year when I did not watch all of Tampa's games, but I saw him at the most important times. I give you that context because, hey, it's Tom Brady, and he's won 35 playoff games, or his record, his quarterback
his team,
wins
his team's record
35.
with him as a starter. Yeah, his team's record with Brady as a starter. Yeah, right.
So you think about Tom Brady in the playoffs, that's a lot of performances, yet one of the best 5 playoff performances I've ever seen from a quarterback came from Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, okay.
In victory. And it was during that run. You talked about it, 10 years ago in Atlanta. I think it was a divisional round. They go to Atlanta, take on the 14-2, whatever they were, Atlanta Falcons, and Aaron Rodgers was so amazing. This is how amazing he was that night, Mike, and we'll find the stats later. The stats don't even matter. The stats don't even tell the story of how great he was. He was so good. Mike Smith, the coach, you're no relation. Mike's no relation. As Uncle Ruckus would say, no relation. All right, so Mike Smith, your namesake, who was the coach of the Falcons at the time, he ran after the game. So he's despondent after the game. Then he's like, I got to see this. Throws the tape on of the game that same night. It was like, oh my God. Like, that guy was covered. He was covered, and he still completed that pass. Oh, wow, look at the air yards. He was marveling, even though he was despondent, he was marveling at Aaron Rodgers. So I will never slander Aaron Rodgers for what he's done. And by the way, let me get closer to your address. I know if Aaron Rodgers, you think nobody better has played the position, but if I had to give you a second place of somebody who is like the prototype for the position, that player would be who? Who did you love so much?
The prototype for the position?
If not Aaron Rodgers, next guy.
Like
one of your
Robo
guys.
QB? John Elway?
Kind of what? No. You always shout out Steve Young.
Oh, Steve Young. Oh, Steve Young. Yeah.
Yeah.
The baddest guy on the planet in the mid-'90s. Absolutely. But Elway came to mind only because this conversation, like all legacy conversations, is premature until they're done playing. What was Elway before those last 2 years when he went back-to-back? So there's still time after this year, presuming Aaron Rodgers continues playing in Green Bay or elsewhere. There's time for him to continue winning, but I just don't know that I, as just a fan of his game, can stand another early playoff exit after yet another MVP season. That would just that would be tough to stomach, wouldn't it? That'd be tough to swallow.
No. You know what it is? We say, like usually an older generation says, these kids doing this today. I can see the previous generation saying to us, what are they on? What are they talking about? Because I bring up Steve Young. Steve Young won one Super Bowl.
Yes.
He won one
Marino.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
My favorite quarterback as a kid, Dan Marino.
And nobody's saying, oh, wow, look at that. He only won one. How many did Peyton win? Like nobody.
One and a half. 1.5. What was left of Peyton was dragged to a Super Bowl thanks to Von Miller and company. Yeah.
Drew Brees got one. Yeah. So all these great quarterbacks with one or two Super Bowls, and that's not enough. Like now we're just greedy.
But all of those. But no, you're right. And you're not only are you preaching to the choir, you are quoting my sermons back to me. Okay? Like, I'm the dude that as a kid, I told you, I got it downstairs. I ordered it on Amazon. There's a little skinny paperback from Athlon Books, so I forgot what it was. I told you about this before. I used to go in the library, pre-internet days, and you have the little card in the back, and you have to fill it out, and you have to tell the school who took it out every single time. In the back of this little paperback book was nothing but Michael Smith. Yes. And the book was Dan Marino versus Joe Montana. Because, surprise, surprise, I'm the contrarian in my elementary school, arguing on behalf of Dan Marino. If Dan Marino had what Joe Montana had, Dan Marino would be winning Super Bowls. That was me. I was that kid. So you ain't got to tell me about how hard it is and how unfair it is to judge quarterbacks on simply championships. Okay? Having said that, none of these people that we're talking about, statistically speaking, in terms of how they're revered, are Aaron Rodgers. Like, you could throw out Drew Brees if you want. You could throw out Warren Moon if you want. As great as they were, Aaron Rodgers is considered by many to be the most talented to ever play the position. And the way he's going out in the playoffs has been so funky so often until this year with this team. Look, man, you and I get on Chris Sims every time he comes on the show. Like, bro, stop exaggerating about what Aaron Rodgers don't have. It's really about how the narrative is so extreme with Aaron Rodgers because, okay, on the one extreme that we're talking about is, oh, he's only got one Super Bowl, okay? On the one extreme. On the other extreme is, oh, well, he's got nobody around him. He's got no talent. He does more with less than anybody else, as if he's catching his own passes, as if he doesn't have, really good defensive players on the other side supporting his cause, as if the Packers this year haven't won thanks to defense at various points. So all I'm saying is it's going to be a very complicated conversation. If Aaron Rodgers loses this week especially, if the Packers, I beg your pardon, lose this week especially, or if Aaron Rodgers does not win a Super Bowl this postseason with the way everything is lined up for Green Bay, this year it's going to be a more complicated conversation as it relates to his legacy to this point.
Well, I'll say this. You're nervous. Don't be so nervous. Don't be so nervous for tomorrow night.
Aren't you picking the 49ers?
No, I'm not picking the 49ers. I'm picking the Rams.
Oh, okay.
I'm picking the Rams over the Bucks. How about that? You know, the guy, the ultimate winner, Tom Brady, I should just be thoughtlessly picking Tom Brady. Of course, Tom Brady always wins. I should be picking Tom Brady. And the guy, as you point out, postseason record, just, slightly over 500, not that great. I'm saying his team is moving on. Why? Packers fans and Packers haters, let me tell you right now, this is not a couple of years ago. It's not a couple of years ago, despite the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo said early in this season, probably after, week 8 or week 9, he said, this team reminds me of our Super Bowl season. First of all, you can't call it a Super Bowl season when you don't win it. All right. Your Super Bowl participation season. It wasn't your Super Bowl season. Anyway, despite Jimmy Garoppolo saying that about the 2021 49ers going back to 2019, it's not that. Why? The Packers have the number 1 seed. The number 1 seed means more now than it did 2 years ago. It is the most rested team in the conference. The most rested team. The team that has everything set up for them.
Wait, but Mike, I'm sorry.
That's not it.
Wait, but the number 1 seed.
Go ahead.
Okay, wait. I'll give it back in a second.
That does matter.
The only difference is, it does not in the divisional round, because they wouldn't be playing a number 2 seed in the divisional round. Like in the past, two teams got the bye. No, you're saying
that's what I'm saying. In the past, that's why I said it means more now because 2 seeds.
No, but not
2 seeds
not,
got
not
the bye
this,
then. But now only 1 team gets the bye.
Right,
you know
but I'm saying they wouldn't be playing it, but they wouldn't have played under the old rules. No, it doesn't. It matters in the regular season. Tomorrow they're not playing a 2 seed, and they wouldn't be playing a 2 seed under the old rules. On the old rules, Tampa would have had a bye as well going into tomorrow. Are you talking about the totality of the NFC picture? Is that what you mean?
I'm just talking about
like Tampa.
I'm saying that Green Bay has everything set up for it, starting with the number 1 seed. Everybody else played. Let me say it this way, Mike. Everybody else in the NFC played last week except for them. That matters. And I'm sorry. You can say, oh, it's all about matchups. Yeah, matchups are big in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they lost
when they were 15-1 once before. If you want to talk about, all you're doing is adding to the point that there's more pressure on them than anybody.
Ain't no pressure. There's no pressure. Let me make this clear. There's no pressure on Green Bay. There's no pressure on them. Green Bay is significantly better than the 49ers right now. They're significantly better.
So how's that not the definition of pressure?
Ain't no pressure. Ain't no pressure. Hey, Mike, you always talk about like things you tell your kids. It's the things I tell my kids. Hey, you got a test tomorrow? Big test, and the teacher says it's worth 30% of your grade? Are you prepared for it? You ready for the material? You good? We good.
Oh, that's
you
great
get
coach.
nervous
Well, that's great coach speak.
when you ain't
that's
got
great
it.
Coach speak.
When you ain't got it.
No. That's two different
Okay,
things.
I
That's two different
understand.
things. I'm not talking about how they. No, I agree with you on that. I'm not talking about how the Packers should be feeling. I'm talking about of the 4 NFC teams left. There are 4 left. One of them's a defending champ, and one guy is just adding to his resume in Tom Brady. So if the Bucks, even though they're at home, the Bucks have already won a championship last year.
Yeah,
Disagree.
On them, though.
The 49ers,
I'll tell you why in a
obviously, are the wild card team crashing the party. As talented as they are, and as much as people thought they were dangerous, I wouldn't say there's more pressure on them than Green Bay. Proverbial pressure. This is theoretical anyway. And last but not least, the Rams, sure, people like you will be lined up to say that it was a failure. All the stars they assembled for them not to get past what they had what they got with Jared Goff last year. Okay, that doesn't make any sense that that's a failure, as if the object of the exercise is not to put yourself in the best position possible and let the results be what they may. If Aaron Rodgers cannot afford to lose, the Packers, for all the reasons you just talked about, okay, Michael, I'll play your game. They got the only bye week.
It's even more. It's even more than that. That's just I'm just getting started. Here's the other part of it. 2 years ago, Jimmy Garoppolo was healthy. He's not healthy now. He's questionable. Nick Bosa is questionable.
All the more reason why they can't lose.
Banged up. Fred, they won't. They won't.
Well,
you
that's
can't
different.
go in.
Okay,
Mike,
that's different. That's two different things. If
Mike,
you're telling me that I got nothing to worry about, that Green Bay is going to win this game, well, that's two different things. But to say that there is no pressure on the greatest thrower of the football that we've ever seen to get us to get back to the Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers doesn't believe that. He said the other day he understands that that's what this is. Not pressure. He understands that legacies are forged in the postseason.
Sure.
That reputations are forged in the postseason. And even though it's unfair, and you and I agree on this, even though it's unfair, history will not remember Bostic or LaFleur and all the reasons, or run defense, all the reasons and all the qualifiers we can assign to a barely over 500 playoff record. That's just how, them the rules. I'll make them. I follow them. Them the rules.
Let me tell you something. History is kind. Twitter is not. History is going to be fine with Aaron Rodgers.
History remembers kings.
What you're talking about is the in the moment, is the snapshot, is the Instagrammable analysis of what's happening right now. History doesn't work like that. That's why I brought up Steve Young. Nobody says, hey, Steve Young, he's in the Hall of Fame. He was dope, but he only got 1 Super Bowl. Nobody even remembers.
No, Michael, we ain't talking about Steve Young. We're not talking about Steve Young. We're not talking about We're not talking about Troy Aikman. We're not talking about Steve Young. We're not talking about
Did somebody say is Peyton less than because he got two bowls?
I'm not saying that. Aaron Rodgers, for many people, is in a league of his own, Michael. It's in a league. He's in a league of his own. Beyond Peyton Manning? Really? Yes. He's better than Peyton Manning. Yes. Peyton Manning had a phenomenal career. Peyton Manning is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Phenomenal career.
Look, man. You can keep trying to run reverses, and you can keep trying to run reverses. I'm not trying to run reverses. And be contrarian.
What I'm trying to say to you.
And act like you don't understand what I'm saying.
Contrarian. Mike, contrarian. Look, I got you on Steve Young. You say, look, hey, Aaron Rodgers on a different level than Steve Young. Yeah, I can play that game with you.
And I love you.
I get it. But Peyton Manning, Mike, I mean, that's a big statement. Okay. Peyton Manning was like a 4 or 5-time MVP, a record-setting, game-changing, game-altering quarterback in the way he called the game.
Do you think Peyton Manning's better than Aaron Rodgers? Okay, fine. If you want, derail the conversation. Do you think Peyton Manning? Okay, well, that's a problem then, because now, just like you know how you say, hey, I ask people certain questions just to see where they stand on things. It's like, you know what? Depending on how you answer, I can't have a conversation. How about we just end this conversation there? If you think Peyton Manning's better than Aaron Rodgers, then we having the wrong conversation. Then you're not the person I'm talking to. Then this conversation is not for you.
Okay.
I don't want to get a debate about Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to do that.
I don't want to get in that debate either. Now listen, I know your background and you know my background. There's only one Emmanuel. Okay. Who do you think Aaron Rodgers is? I know one who was among us and will come back one day. Now, Aaron Rodgers ain't that dude. Who do you think Aaron Rodgers is? Who is he? If I'm saying Peyton Manning, you're like, Peyton Manning, 4 or 5-time league MVP, 2-time champion, record-setting quarterback, on and on. Hey, Aaron Rodgers is above that level, is he? Is he? What? Are we serious?
Dead serious. I honestly, don't worry about it. I'll get through this myself. I'll handle my own nerves. You said I ain't got nothing to worry about. I'll be okay.
You don't worry about it.
I'll be okay. I will figure out. Just come Monday, please keep this same energy. If for some reason the 49ers should upset the Packers, please support me and keep this same energy. Just keep this same energy and help to defend Aaron Rodgers against the inevitable criticism that maybe not here, that he will receive from people saying, damn, how's the most talented quarterback of all time barely over 500 in the postseason? How many excuses y'all gonna make for Aaron Rodgers? It's already said. Anytime I've ever said Rodgers is as good or better than Brady, immediately get met with, well, how come he only got one Super Bowl? How come he's 11-9 in the playoffs? It's like it gets harder and harder to explain that away the more his teams come up short. That's the purpose of this conversation. Your Peyton Manning love affair, we'll have that conversation another time. I'm fascinated by that. I love Peyton. I love Peyton. I love Peyton Manning. He's not better than Aaron Rodgers. That doesn't mean he's bad. It means he's not better than Rodgers. He's not better than the best or second best quarterback of all time. That's not a crime.
You're going to have to show your work on that one, bro. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.